Hi, hey, and all those other greetings, Spade Adventurers. Welcome back to Spade Gals Productions Game Unboxing channel with me, Jake Spins, who's also from Spade Gals Original, with Gorilla Cyclones, Quincor, Florali, and vlogs, as well as our videos that all of you guys can check out after this video. And today we are going to be doing an unboxing, one that I have been waiting for so long to do, which is actually generally my fault, and I greatly apologize for that because I've actually had this box for a while, and I'm sorry. But I wanted to see how I did the video first because it was a video unlike any that I had done. Sort of. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, though, let's get started with some more of the Sonic Toy Network plush line comparison video series. That is a mouthful. I forgot what I called it. Even though I did my homework. I watched the first episode just to see how I did. I know that's weird. Hopefully I'm more awkward in that episode than this one. Anyway, though, let's go with contestant number 1, which is going to be the new plush, and we will be starting off with Tails. Yeah, I know, before we started off with the smaller guy, and then we went to the bigger guy, but you know what? Contestant number 1 is a bit bigger, you know, he's had quite a few salads. I don't know why I said salads, but to be fair, his best friend is a 6-year-old rabbit, one of them, so I felt uncomfortable saying, like, any sort of meat, because that would be weird. But let's look at Tails right here. Now, the thing is, this is the second big type of Toy Network plush that I've had. I did have, like, all the same scaled ones, so it is kind of weird to look at the differences of the bigger ones. One thing to mention about Tails that isn't going to be clear right now is that for some reason, with Toy Network, everybody knows that it was very inconsistent. But for Tails, it was even more inconsistent because sometimes Tails would be yellow and sometimes Tails would be orange. In this case, I had a yellow plush. Now, when you're going to look at the actual plush, you're going to think, oh, it's super sun faded. But no, that's the actual color that it was. And then my brother's was super orange. So I'm not exactly sure why they did this, or if this was just a weird quality control problem, because I know there has been an argument of, is Tails yellow or orange, because he's kind of been both every once in a while. Now, for Tails, he has those same plasticky eyes, as wonky and honestly derpy as Tails looks, which I've never really noticed until looking at him now. Because when you look at it, I think it's the points on his eyes. Because look at that very closely. Instead of going in a circular oval motion, it goes like, starts to go and then stained glass window point. For no apparent reason. Which is just bizarre. Other than that though, everything on this guy is pretty stuffed nicely. The tails are not so much. They're lacking stuff, whether that's from age or just the fact of, again, quality control is beyond me, but it's something that does kind of bother me. The length is right, though. Considering how stuffed the rest of the plush is, though, I have a feeling that it was actually a quality control problem, which, again, kind of weird. Other than that, though, the tag does look very nice. It's hard to get to just because of how flimsy it is. And this tag, Tails, is orange, though, so this tag is on the orange side. What side are you on? For the shoes, they feel like they have lighter stuff. Like, it's not stuffed as nicely, even though it doesn't really completely look like it. No, you can see it on camera. It's kind of weird, you know, choosing the shoes and the tails, but I guess when you think about it, those would be the two hardest things to stuff from this, depending on where you're actually putting the stuffing. Other than that, though, everything on this plush looks great, from the cheek tufts, muzzle, and the chest tufts as well. Now you might be like, okay, so we're going to go and compare this to your other Tails plush. Nope. We are going to pull out Bachelor number 2 being this Tails. I know, it's weird, right? But we're going to put this guy down for a moment here. And since the world didn't implode from 2 Tails being here, especially a Christmas variant of Tails, how did I find this? Well, I've actually had a variant plush from the Toy Network line before, so this is nothing new to me. It's my first time looking at this plush, and this one is a Christmas one. Honestly, could it be easily faked? Oh, yes, it could be. The problem is, though, as you may know for Toy Network, it's very unclear if there actually are holiday variants because there's a lot of them, or if they're just bootlegs. I have seen ones such as Sonic with shorts. Seriously, just shorts. And I thought, that seems a little too easy to bootleg. Granted, I did actually get this one. It was cheap, though, and from the same seller, so I felt it was trustworthy. I have also seen the Christmas Amy, which I would love to get because she has reindeer ears as the, well, not ears, but the antlers. Yeah, antlers. How did I almost call them hoofs? I'm a derp. But they're there for the headband, and I would love to get it, but it's like $75, and that's just not worth it, especially for the potential that it might be a bootleg. It is kind of weird, though, that I have seen these variants before I've seen other characters, but these are probably more likely than those unlikely characters. The other variant that I have seen, though, was today, and the tag was mangled, so that's why I didn't buy it, but it was Sonic with a pirate eye patch and a pirate hat. I so wanted to get it, but seriously, like, the tag looked like it had just been, like, devoured. It was kind of gross. Like, it would have been better if it was cut off. But, that is neither here or there. Weirdly enough, this plush doesn't have an official tag for it, which, little bit concerning. But there is a tag right here that says 4 Tails. And I think that's why I was like, oh, hey, this looks convincing. But whether this is actually a legitimate plush or not, you have to give it to them. It's pretty convincing. Unfortunately, though, there are a few stains on it, such as on the glove, which might be hard to see, and the candy cane as well, which is a little bit unfortunate. The weird thing is both hands are actually curved inwards, as if this one's also supposed to be holding something, which is kind of weird and a little off-putting. But this one, it is orange as well. The tails are stuffed. The shoes are stuffed very nicely. So everything, as you can see from the more regular size of plush, it's actually stuffed very, very well and done very well. Not only that, but the eyes look a lot more natural because for some reason the plastics, they never made them bigger. They really didn't. I think for that one was bigger though, but they didn't make them that much bigger because there's a giant one that still has like these tiny pupils and it's like, what the heck? That makes no sense. But yeah, that is the Christmas variant of Tails. If you know anything about this, please let me know, because honestly, this is one I don't know if it's real or if it's fake. Now, we'll bring Bachelor number 1 back out, and of course, as you know, for any good dating competition, you have to have 3 competitors, which leads me to the one I had as a child, and oh dear God. So let's just let's put the big guy down over here, contestant number 1. Let's compare contestant number 2 to contestant number 3. Now, believe it or not, I do actually know that this is an official used to be a good-looking official plush, as it did come with the tag, and we cut off the touch tags. This might actually be the worst of them. For Doodles, yes, this is the worst of them. You thought Tails Doll was in your nightmares. No, this will be. But this is, oddly enough, my childhood. So, for some reason, when we were kids, to explain this, we had this child story arc plush thing. And one day we ended up asking if we could draw on the plush. My mom said yes. You know, we have gone over that, but we went with different things for the plush. Apparently I went with a more zombie feel, as even though a lot of the marker is faded, you can see like this bloody arm. Spooky, organic, it should be infected. Woo! Thankfully I didn't know about that as a child. And then you also have my attempt at making stitches as a child, which honestly they don't look too bad, but I put them on only one side of the tails. Like this part of the tails looks completely fine, completely nice, and then this side it's like, what type of surgery happened to you? And then, you know, the natural zombie thing, other than random spurts of blood, a leaf on the back of the head. He wanted to be a zombie Pikmin. What can I say? And of course, any good zombie has to have nice lines on the face, nice Italian sports lines on the face. I think that's literally the Italian flag type of color. I could be wrong, but like that's what it looks like. And then the whites of the eyes colored, which is great. Also, for some reason, this iris is also, you know, colored in red. So, just to give a nice little comparison, I wanted to show you in detail the terrors of what this plush has gone through. Here's to the sides, all that good stuff, and then I'll show compared to the other plush. And like the other video, we do have one more to go over, and I'm sorry that this is taking a little bit longer, but again, to be fair, we had a variant too. It is very possible that we could have variants in other episodes, but at the same time, I've been having a really hard time finding. I found Amy out of the most of them, but I've been having a really tough time finding a few of the other ones, which you would probably expect who they are. And after this one, I'll tell you, because that's a bit unfortunate. But the next one is Shadow. You were probably bracing yourself for childhood terror. But nope, this is the actual, legitimate, non-damaged Shadow. I was going to make another joke, and I had nothing. But this guy, he seems smaller. I think I got the smaller size, which is fine. Honestly, though, out of all the Shadow plush that they've done, well, yes, this isn't terrible, because all the details are there. It's not great either, which is unfortunate because I'm pretty sure this is also Shadow's first plush appearance. Which, yes, the art does look nice, which is from Sonic Team and all that. And if you are wondering, Toy Network did a lot of variant sizes because of, I think they sold them at amusement park places, arcades, and we got ours at, like, a random store somewhere around. And I just got this one offline. But I feel like the one thing that makes this plush a problem is, why would they do the mouth like this? I mean, sure, it's my childhood plush, but like, why? I don't understand. They were trying to do a frown, but you would have actually saved more time and effort just doing a curve. But for some reason, they were like, you know what would make Shadow look more menacing and terrifying? What's that, Johnson? A right angle! Doesn't he look menacing? Like he's about to slaughter your hopes and dreams? Seriously, like, why? Why? Other than that, though, everything's pretty decent. You've got the red lines above the eye, even though on this one it's a little harder to tell. The gloves, nice, soft, all that kind of stuff. Of course, the gauntlets by the shoes and the gloves. They've always really done that for Shadow Plush, so that's nothing too major that they didn't go all out with that. You've got the spikes, which are nice, and these ones are actually going up. This one's actually going down, so they got all of those correctly. You've got the back spikes, which should be a bit longer. Tail is pretty nice length. And also, I like how they did the chest fur. Granted, it's not actual fur, but even though I do really like the GE line, one thing that I'm kind of like about for the GE line is that for the chest hair, yes, they did do actual fabric, and yes, it is felt, but there's a stitch through the middle, and I find it awkward, and it looks weird. Another detail on the plush, however, is that they actually went through and did all the designs of the bottom of the shoe. Sure, it could look nicer, and it is kind of weird that they did do a different texture, but I'm sure they had some kind of like a print thing, and that was a lot easier to do than the fabric, because when you look at it, the fabric is all like simple patterns just kind of stitched together, whereas this really isn't. So I guess that kind of makes a lot more sense. And this is actually a more shiny material. For some weird reason, they only did this for the bottom of Shadow shoes, but again, I think that's more so for the fact that he actually has designs on the bottom of them, whereas a lot of the other characters, the bottom of their shoes, are generally more of a gray type, and before you correct me, I do know that there are actually details on the bottom of a fair amount of their shoes, but a lot of the plush, they just do a flat gray, whereas for Shadow, because of how his shoes are, can't really do that without it looking weird for him, so that part actually does make sense. And now, it's time to bring all of your nightmares back into reality and show you guys my childhood plush of Shadow. A lot of times, for some reason, the legs seem to kind of be like, blah. And oddly enough, I don't think there's any, like, cuts or stitching. There's not too many, but they're all, like, deflated in the stuff department. Except his ears are pretty good. Yeah, their ears turned out weirdly nice, which is bizarre. Now, you might be like, okay, Shadow actually came out, other than, problematically destroyed, he came out of the drawing thing pretty decently. That's mostly due to the fact that most of him is actually, the black cloth, and the markers we had wouldn't have really worked on that. So that's more likely what it is. But looking at him, his eyes are white. A little more white than Tails, but not as white as the Sonic one that I had. More so on the line of the Knuckles one, I believe. The red in here, very, very worn out. As you can see, extraordinarily worn out. His one ear, for some reason, I gave him a blood mark. Don't even know why. And then, of course, you have red light, green light in his eyes, because why wouldn't you? And one thing that you can see is a fatal flaw of this plush, just in and of itself, other than my childhood destruction, is that his chest fur over time actually does crack if not well taken care of, which can definitely lead to a lot of issues. So definitely take that into account if you have one of these, and make sure to take very good care of it. I mean, it's been super, super long, so if one of them looks like this, be very careful, because it could look like this minus the marker. The gloves have some drawings on them, which, honestly, they're symmetrical. you gotta give me props for that. They actually make a lot of sense, and they're kind of cool. While being destructive to the plush, it's not that bad. And you can actually see it a lot better on camera, which is nice. He also had very similar color and design drawings on his shoes. And as I said, for the fatal problem of the chest fur, it does also go for the bottom of the shoes. So that's a big majority of an issue. And as you can see from how plump this very brand new Toy Network Shadow plush looks to how skinny this looks, like, you can tell how much we played with these things. It's not a joke when I say that. So, yeah, well, you might find it a little uncomfortable, weird, or just plain disturbing. You have to admit, it is kind of interesting to see what somebody's childhood toys do actually look like now. And, hopefully, unlike, well, like last video, you probably will have a lot of questions, and you're probably going to be just as saddened and disturbed. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the video. I just need to actually look to see how much time we have. We don't really have too much time, but I want to read my comic books. So I'm actually going to open up some IDW comics. Okay, I was going to say, the question is, which one of these actually is the one to open up first? And we'll only really look at the first page and go over a short overview because I know a lot of people don't like this kind of stuff, but also we've done the meat of the video, and most of it's not. No. Oh my god, this is what I hate about them putting tape on this. Don't rip the comic, please. I don't want to buy a new one. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Oh my god, it almost reattached. It almost freaking reattached. So honestly, what I like a lot about this is that the cover is super nice. Looks very good, very exciting. And it's literally been 2 months since I've read this. So, I mean, oh yeah, there's a whole metal virus going around. And okay, to be honest, the second cover for this, the B cover, is actually pretty cool. So that's definitely going to be something I'm interested in. And then we're at least going to open this one up, and we'll show off the first page, you know, show that cover and stuff. And I will try not to look because I don't want to get spoiled. The cover is very nice, though, and I think there's another one with Sonic and Amy going down a staircase with a weird shadow on the wall, which is pretty neat. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So here are, yeah, the B one. And what's the third one? Alright, third one looks kind of weird, but it's kind of cool. But yeah, I'd definitely get that B cover. But yeah, that's going to end it off for this episode. So if you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, share this out with everyone you know and love, brother, mother, sister, father, iguana, and let me know, do you have any childhood plush figures, toys, whatever, that are just downright sadly destroyed like these? And I mean, if you want to show them off, feel free to go on to Twitter and direct message me, or just send me the pictures by tagging me, you know? But that's going to be it. So hopefully I'll see you guys later. Keep your toes safe.